Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk very briefly about a film from 1968. It's called A Quiet Place in the Country. It's currently playing on the Criterion Channel. It's part of my April 2021 marathon of 18 films new to the Criterion Channel in April of 2021. It's a film. It was shot in 1968 and released in Europe in that year. It didn't make it to the United States till 1970. Directed by Elio Petri. He was a filmmaker who was often a political, kind of a left-wing critique of modern society, capitalist society. This is kind of different than the other films I've seen of his. In some ways, at least, and I guess you could call it a giallo. I'm not a expert in that particular genre. I've seen many of the films that are most famous that correspond to that genre. Petri was kind of more or less a director who made different kinds of films, and I suppose he was influenced by Mario Bavo and Dario Argento, maybe, and made some movies before this film was shot. And I'll be looking at Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion, which is Petri's next film, and I think I have that on my schedule for in a couple days from now. The movie stars Franco, Nero, Vanessa, Redgrave. They were a tabloid item at the time. They later broke up. But currently, I don't know what year in this new millennium, they did eventually marry, and married today. And I saw a film called Letters to Juliet a few weeks ago, in which they appear together. At the time, they had just completed Camelot, which was a big hit musical. I think Franco Nero played Lancelot, and obviously very good-looking guy. He was already a star from 1966 Django. But when you see this movie, the first scene in this movie, we see Franco Nero, an incredibly good-looking guy, sitting in a chair tied up naked except for wearing a diaper. Now, if that particular kind of image turns you off, you probably don't want to see the rest of this movie because it's full of very strange and unusual kind of imagery. It's basically a story about insanity. Franco Nero is playing a painter who has got a painter's block. He hasn't been able to create anything, but he's famous. He's very saleable. Vanessa Redgrave plays both his characters, both his girlfriend and his agent, his sales agent. In order to cure his painter's block, he is going to retire for a while, vacation for a while in the countryside. They have a villa set up for him, but when he gets there, he sees he's just going to be on exhibit himself for his richest patron. And he, on the way traveling to that villa, he spots a villa that is decrepit, overgrown landscape, and that's where he wants to go. So we get the haunted house. He goes there and lives by himself. The house seems to be haunted. It's in a way that it is violent towards Vanessa Redgrave, doesn't like her, the manifestations of the spirit that lives there. So he lives there by himself with a servant and her boyfriend, who is there to, quote, keep her company. And he creates very strange and massive murals where he just walks across the canvas with the colors, and he becomes increasingly deranged. And of course, we don't know, we can't really tell what is real, what is not in this film. He's not, he's simply, the fantasy reality images are often very powerful, very striking. But after they're done, we're not really sure if they actually occurred or not. There is a great Sion sequence in this movie. It's very creepy, and a ghost appears. As I said earlier, Petri is sort of like his other films. He's both a critic of modern society, and he also likes to explore the psyche of his male characters, which he certainly does here. And he's skewering the art world, the stuffiness, pretentiousness of it, which is pretty familiar stuff. And he's also brings into line the pornography that this artist has a sort of addiction to pornography, and some of it violent pornography. And it does touch on the idea that great art comes from neurosis, if not actual insanity, and that there's something going on in an artist's brain that is off kilter, and he sees things in the world around him differently, and his outlet his creative outlet is necessary to him. So it's a very good haunted house. It's full of blood, so I guess and red paint as it plays into the giallo genre. I found it sometime, and it's on the Criterion Channel. It's part of the Ennio Morricone 22 movies, I think, movies that Morricone scored, and it has a very discordant, jarring kind of tone to it. But it seems to suit the abstract, kind of fractured nature of this film. I found it very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to revisiting Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion, and like I said, in a couple days. So anybody who actually made it to the end of my babblings, I highly appreciate it. Any subscribes, likes, comments, if you've ever seen this film. This is kind of a rare film. I think it was on DVD. I don't think there's any Blu-ray, at least not in the United States. The only place it's streaming right now is on the Criterion Channel. It's definitely worth checking out if you like giallo, or if you're interested in the career of its director, Elio Petri. Okay, other than that, I'll catch you guys next time.